That's another. Miss Meat, go ahead, hit me back. Hit my line, Miss Meat. I apologize. I don't know, somebody tripped something and everything went out and fucking reset. So I have no fucking idea who did what and why. But there's that. I don't know what just happened. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, well, that just took place. All right, here we go. All right, Miss Meat, I apologize. I apologize, but I don't know what happened. It just everything blacked out on me, and somebody must have tripped something and reset everything.
Well, it's the internet. Sometimes depending on how the weather is. Too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
seems like it's loading a lot now as well.
Yes, yeah, I'm getting some buffering. Give me a second. It's getting a little janky. I think we. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, hold on. Let me see what's up. Let me see what's up. Okay, signal
Yeah,
should be straight. Yes, I'm getting a lot of buffering on my end. Holy
I
shit.
think it's straight now.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, that's it's still nice. It's a little bit of still getting some buffer action. Let me figure out what we got.
Um, right. I don't know where it cut off at, but I think I was saying at the time that my stepfather made me to believe that my real father was dead.
Mm,
And I believed it for years until one day this little guy, I was at the store and he came up to me. He said, "I'm your brother." So I'm looking at him like, my mom has four girls. She didn't have any boys. How are you my brother? We got the same daddy. So I go home and I'm crying and I'm talking to my mom, my stepdaddy right there. They didn't say nothing, but I know later on that night I could hear her getting her ass whooped up in the room. Okay. So I guess when I got about 15 or 16, he beat her up one day real bad. So at that time I was kind of hanging out in the streets because my mom, sent me to live with my grandma. So, but we basically bumped up in there and got my mom anyway. She, from then on, she left me or whatever. But I know I started looking for my father. It took me years and years. I finally found him when I was 30 something. But anyway, it goes back to, I know, looking back now, I did have daddy issues because I had very, very low self esteem. Very low self esteem. I didn't see myself as really nothing to men. I would, basically put up with a lot of bullshit from men. And I did when I was younger, because I felt like, I'm not shit anyway. Because I was never made by my stepfather to feel like I was. And just like with my husband, I see the difference, and I can look back now because when I asked him, do he want to find his father, he just a matter of fact, like no, nonchalant about it. He said, I don't care to find him, and it don't bother him. But he had his grandfather in his life, and his grandfather, was a good man. Him and his grandmother stayed together till they both passed away. They were together like 60 years so from his grandfather. But as far as women, whether we want to look at it or not, we do have like unless you had a great dad. And I feel sorry for that Betty Spaghetti. When you think you got something going on in your life, there's always somebody out there that has the even worse story, and I feel sorry for her. But a lot of women do, and we don't want to admit that when we didn't have a good father, whether it was your real daddy, your stepdaddy, or you didn't have a daddy. Um, I applaud the women who had good men in their life, because they do. I can see the difference in how they, uh, you know, grew up, graduated, went to college, married, didn't have sex or kids before they got married, and all that. When they have two good role models around, they pretty much, come up good. But the ones, when you look back at the ones who didn't, there's an issue. And a lot of people in this society don't want to look at that. And a lot of men know they prey on women that has low self esteem. Them certain men out there who has daddy issues themselves, they prey on women who have low self-esteem like that, because no real woman is gonna deal with no man like that, or who had a father that was a good role model, whether it was a real father or stepfather. I never had a man in my life that was a good role model. Not even my uncles. Like, no man in my life was a good role model. Nowhere. Everything about this life I had to learn on my own. About men and how to do it, and and things like that. Watching other women who did have good role models. I surrounded myself with positive people once I realized what was going on in my life. But I had very low self-esteem. It was a couple of times I just say, shit, I want to go to sleep and not wake up. But what is that going to do? Because I didn't have not one role model in my life when I was young. Even my grandfather. We went and knocked on his door one day because we found out who he was. Like I said, he had two different families. He opened that door, and I was like, you my grandfather. Man, that man chased us off the porch with a stick and told us to never come back.
Wow.
Like, he was still denying that stuff, and it was crazy. So there was no positive role models around me. And my mom didn't really, bless her heart, rest in peace to my mom, because I asked her, I said, why did you let that man beat on us? Why did you let him tell me that my dad was dead? Like, I resented her for years for that. I did. I resented my mama for years. Like, why would you keep me here in this house? This man beat us. I got like marks on my body from where this man beat us, but you kept me from my real daddy. So I resented her like for years. And me looking back on that now, I don't like it, because like one caller said, women back then just put up with stuff like that. They put up with it. They didn't say anything about it. They put up with it. They put up with the abuse. They put up with whatever it is they put up with. And it's crazy. So I figured I was going to be
Excuse me.
I said, I'm not going to be like that. And I'm not going to have my kids around no man that's like that. If I even see any depths of anything, you're not going to be around my children. So I figured I would break that cycle. And that's what I did. Because, it's my girl knows, the one that's still here. She knows she do not have to deal with nothing. You could always come home. She know not to tell me anybody damn near hitting her or anything. She know what's going to happen then. But, I just think that if a woman is in this situation right now, and I'm not calling her bad, because there's women in abusive situations right now, and there's probably somebody listening on here in an abusive situation. Trust me, it's just, we got to put some kind of positive uh, role models. Some kind of male. You can't say you could be raised up like I was with absolutely not one positive male role model around me. I'm talking about nobody. My uncles, nobody around me was positive. I even had a coach sexually abuse me. When I tried to talk to the coach about my problems, he preyed on me. He sexually abused me. And I never did. And I was too scared to call the police. And I was too scared to tell people, because he told me they was going to look at me like a hoe. But that was me being with low self-esteem. And I got pregnant by this coach. And he took me to get an abortion. He made me get an abortion.
Wow.
So nobody never knew till 2 years later. And guess what? Nothing happened to this man. So from then on, I said I would not deal. I would not go to another man for anything, because every man around me was messed up. And it made me have daddy issues. It did. It did. And I actually started about 10 years ago going to see a counselor and things like that. It helped a little bit. But, unless somebody been through what you've been through, I don't know how they could tell you anything. That was my thing. But I just had to learn in my life that there's bad people out there. And I make sure my girls have positive male role models around them, more than one.
Yeah.
Not my uncles and them, they can't go around, not by themselves. When we go visit, we go, hey, all right, let's go, because I know what they were.
Yes.
And, one of my uncles tried to sexually assault me, but it my younger sister was in the room with us, so we fought it. I was like 8 or 9, and she was like 7. It's just, when you around a whole bunch of bad men, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it does affect us, whether we want to know it or believe it or say it's deep down in there somewhere. If you never had a man to show you, when you were younger, this is how men supposed to act.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it happens. It happens.
That's crazy. And I'm glad that you were able to survive everything and share this story with. But it's that's and this is something we talk about. Like I said, I don't give all men a pass. I know there's some dirty motherfuckers out there. And that's why I say the value of that is so important to have good men. And I'm sorry that you never had that, but I'm glad that you did find you a husband who was able maybe to help with those things. How do you? Let me word this properly before I ask it. Because I know you said that your husband kind of treated you different when you met him, and he kind of changed your way of thinking. Has that helped with some of the esteem issues, or how do you feel, about you and your husband's relationship and the impact it's had on your feelings towards men?
Yeah, see, at first, my self-esteem was still really low. But, like I said, when he made me feel like the most beautiful woman, no matter, because to be honest with you, when I met him, I couldn't believe he talked to me because he's so handsome. I'm like, this handsome man talking to me, something wrong. Something wrong. There's something wrong with him. That's the way I felt. But when he acted like I was above all of that and above everything, he put me on a pedestal. I said, this is a great feeling. I've never felt this in my life. And at first it was a little bit of issues, like I said, but I couldn't believe there was men out there that didn't call you names, that didn't try to hit you, that didn't have to argue and fight and fuss and fight with. And now I can say today, my self-esteem is great. I mean, that didn't even take a counselor. That just took a good man. It didn't take a whole bunch of talking. It didn't take a whole bunch of books. It just took somebody that treated me right and was a good man and a good role model. That's what it took. But at first I felt like I was just so, I was like, why is this man talking to me? He's so handsome. Why is he talking? Is he really treating me like this? So I would be guarded at first. I wouldn't call him or I wouldn't call him back because I was thinking he just wanted, this and that. But it's just like he wouldn't stop. And still today, still put me up on the pedestal.
That's what's happening. That's, that definitely alters my perspective. And again, like I say, it's I don't know, like, because when I hear these stories and I hear about these dudes that do these vile things, it's like I guess as a man, if you don't participate in that kind of, you kind of don't want to. I don't want to say don't want to believe it because it happens, but I guess just the mentality is like, what kind of fucking person do you have to be, and do you think that, like, what do you think creates these kind of men? Do you think it's also their father issues, maybe not having that man there to kind of instill better, guidance in them, or how would you identify it? Why do you think that there are men out there like that?
As far as the coach goes, I don't know because, I didn't know his background or his lifestyle. I just think he was a nasty ass man. I don't know because the way he, what he did to me when I came to him in confidence of what was going on with me, and they always tell you, go see a counselor, go see a coach, go talk to somebody. That's not always true because they prey on you just as well as anybody else would. Now, my uncles, I could say, like I said, their father was in a whole nother marriage with a whole nother wife. So I think that has something to do with them. But as far as speaking for why men do something, I don't know. Maybe we need a man to call in and be real, who really went through something like that for women to understand, because that's something I can't answer. We're strong, but we're still weak. When I say weak, we're not stronger than a man. We can't overpower a man unless you just can bench press 300 pounds and you beat the shit out of the dude. But it's gonna take a man to call in and be real and say why he did the things he did to a woman. Like, if he was abusive at one time, or if he did this, why did he do it? Because I can't answer it. I just know that being abused, I had to overcome it, which I really couldn't. I had to say to myself, I couldn't overcome it by myself. And I didn't realize that until I got my movie that this is what I've been going through in my head until then. So it's going to take a guy to call in who, has treated a woman that way and be real. And, us not tell them because we want to hear why they do the things they do to women. I can only say why I took it.
Miss Meat. And again, I appreciate you, being so. But I appreciate all of y'all for being so. But I appreciate, because I know some of these things are tough to talk about, and to just be open and share these stories. And I hope that people who are listening are taking something away from this, because this is definitely, it changes my perspective. That's why I say I enjoy talking to y'all so much, because there's experiences that I've never had, and just to kind of get some insight and for y'all to share this with me, man, it's deep. Um, I thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anything else you would like to add to that?
Yeah, well, as far as raising my daughters, like, I know sometimes, like, we would get into it because people say I was so strict on them. But they could not spend the night over people's house because I don't know what kind of brother, uncle, mama they had. Like, I had them in, like, so tight in this hold because I didn't want them to go through what I went through. But they came up to be some good girls, but it's just that I know what happened to me affected the way I raised my girls too, because they would cry because I wouldn't let them spend the night nowhere. I wouldn't let them out of my sight per se. Your friends could spend the night over here. Their mom could come meet me, but I would not let them out of my sight. I wouldn't. And I know that's got a whole lot to do with what happened to me. So we need, any way you can find a positive man. I'm not saying go out and look for any man, but even if it's somebody positive, got to be some male positive has got to be around a woman to show her this is the way you're gonna be. This is the way you need to be treated when you get older. This is what you stand for. This is what you don't stand for. So that's about it.
And I don't blame
And
you
I
for
was
that.
good talking to y'all.
And I appreciate the call there, Miss Meat. And again, I thank you for sharing that with us.
All right.
All right,
Y'all have a good one.
you have a good one
Okay,
too.
bye bye.
Thank you. Y'all give me just a second. I need to take a quick pause. Um, and we're gonna jump right back into it. We're gonna keep it going for a little bit, man. These calls, man, very very eye opening, extremely eye opening, and we're gonna bounce right back into it. Give me just a second. We're gonna bounce right back into it. Definitely insightful. Definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about the little delay. Had to get a little one a hug, man. 'Cause these stories, some of these stories that I'm hearing, they are real tough. So take a second to let her know that she's loved, man. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this morning? Or is it still morning?
Good morning.
Oh, we up this morning, huh?
Yeah, I had a rough night the other night, so I made it today.
Okay. Miss Rushy, these motherfuckers here
Yeah.
working on this damn apartment and shit. I guess they've been asking about the new moving in. But man, do you have a story to share? What's on your mind about today's topic? We've heard some tough
Well,
things.
I only met my father one time when I was my biological father. I met him once when I was like 10 years old. That was about it. And I was pretty much raised in a home with stepfather, and that was not a good experience. He was very verbally abusive to us and to my mother. Just a lot of name calling, a lot of calling her, bitches and hoes and all that kind of stuff. And I just couldn't understand why she stayed in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I learned what I didn't want in a man from seeing that relationship. Really.
I'm a little quiet here because they
'Cause
call.
I was like, a man, he never gonna be talking to me like that, talking to me crazy. And I'm always gonna make my own money because she was a housewife, so her situation was where she was like financially dependent on him, and she had a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't as easy for her to leave, as she probably would have wanted to.
So, do you think that he used that to his advantage, knowing that you had a lot of kids and that she was a housewife? So you think that that kind of played his hand as far as how he treated her?
Yeah, because it was one point where he did have to leave the house, and that was like the best year of our life. We were free, we were happy, we were cool, but all of us was young, and she really couldn't afford to maintain the house because he had a house. She couldn't afford to maintain the house, because we wasn't really at an age to where we could work. You know what I'm saying? Even the oldest, wasn't old enough to be able to financially help her. And she, at the time, she did get on, public assistance. And he went down to the public assistance office and told them that he was working, and he showed them his check stub and everything. So they cut her benefits off.
Wow.
So yeah, so that made her not have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So the little bit of what she had, he he stopped that because my youngest sister, she was Down syndrome. She's past, now, but she had Down syndrome, so it was hard already for my mama to work. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a rough situation. But yeah, he was a little young dirty guy. That's all I could say on that.
And I know you said that kind of showed you to be more independent, not to rely on a man, not to have your own money and to do those things. But how do you think that's impacted your overall dealings with men throughout the course of your life and your adult life? Do you think that's made you look at them all in a kind of a certain light that it's affected?
I could still recognize good men. I've had good men. I had bad men. You know, I mean, I can see how. I probably didn't let them get too close to me because a lot of them would tell me I'm not as emotional, I would say, as some women, with all that I love you and this and that, and so I can see that aspect. But also growing up, he was always telling me and my older brother, because we wasn't his kids, he would always tell us when we get 18, we got to get out. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, turning 18, I was worried. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm gonna do? Where I'm gonna go? And that ended up putting me in a position that I shouldn't have been in. To where when I did, get 18, graduated from high school and everything, I moved to be with family because they made it like they was gonna be there for me, and everything's gonna be okay. But they ended up taking financial advantage of me, because I was only working part time, and they was pretty much just taking all my money. I didn't really have nothing left after having to pay rent and everything. And then I don't even have a room. I'm sleeping on the couch at that point, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like if I would have had a place to go, you know what I'm saying, I would have been better off, you know, and not, had myself in that situation. But eventually I was able to turn it around and finish school and get a full time job. But I'm just saying you have to watch how the men that you let in your life. I would say that for the women.
And I apologize to y'all across the way. They need to hurry up and install that whatever the fuck that carpet that they're doing. But I'm gonna tell them they're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go shut all this shit. At first it was the leaf blowing, man. Now they installing carpet. They don't want us winning, man. They don't want us to have
It's
any.
just not your day. They just don't want you to be great.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Um, yeah, they just they probably some bad men across the way. They don't want us telling finding out what's really going on. That's what it is. But no,
Mm.
but all seriousness, and so that's really wild that that family would take advantage of you like that. But that's that's I've heard that story a couple of times. I've heard similar stories that people will play like they gonna look out for you and then end up
Right.
taking
They
advantage of
lured me. They lured me pretty much to their house. Oh, girl, you gonna be free, all this and that. But you didn't tell me that you was gonna be taking most of my money. I'm gonna save money to get my own place and do what I got to do. So I just worked part time and save nothing. Eventually, like I said, found me a full time job.
you. Yeah, it's just did that look like more motivation? Do you think that gave you more motivation in life?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. But at the same time, you supposed to be my family. You could have did more.
Yeah. So a little bit of motivation, a little bit of distrust, mistrust.
Hmm.
Can't lie, man. It's really eye opening listening to a lot of these stories that have been shared, and I think the the fact that we have such a diverse group of people who come through here, yet you hear a lot of similar stories, and that lets you know that this is happening a lot more than maybe we realize. And that's actually kind of saddening. But and I don't say that everybody's always everybody came out on the other side hunky dory. I think there's always lasting. I think there's always you know effects that they may not be significant or it may take a while to get over them, but that they have impacted your life up until this point. So
But I know I'm quicker to leave a situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not about to go through what I thought.
yeah,
So
so and then I think it's kind of, well, I won't say everybody, but it's like, so some folks have learned from the bad situations as to what they don't want,
Exactly.
as opposed to having a man teach them what they be should be, deserving of, and that's tough. And because I don't know, man, I'm just feeling kind of, I can't lie, I'm just feeling kind of fucked up about it because I just don't understand how a person treats somebody that you're supposed to love in this kind of manner,
Exactly.
you know. And it's gone from daddy issues about fathers not being there to a lot of stories about men who are there, but they fucking off the whole
Exactly.
program, and I mean, I did not expect that in the beginning of this conversation. I
And
didn't.
then, like the other caller said, you don't want to really trust nobody with your business because they use that against
Blame her for that. Because if you've seen nothing, I mean, if the majority of the experiences that you've had in your life have been negative, then you're going to approach the world in that fashion because that's what you're going to expect. So I cannot blame my volume. I'm trying to keep it low so it don't. I'm trying to keep my
you.
volume low so that y'all ain't got to hear all that fucking. You know.
But I still try to have a good attitude in spite of, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I definitely feel like, I got a hole in my heart, where, my father probably should have been, but I just live with it. That's how I feel like I just manage, you know what I'm saying? It's been so long. So I mean, I don't know.
So I have a question for you. I know people be talking about I ask too many questions, but I'm asking questions then. So have you ever had a good male example in your life, or have you ever dealt with a man that you felt was a quality man in your life?
Oh, for sure. But I wasn't prepared to receive it. Now looking back on it. I mean, to I didn't know how to accept. I don't know if it was low self esteem or I don't know what it was, but I was just suspicious. Like, what's your real motive? Like, can I really trust you? It's kind of hard to trust when you grow up seeing how the women in your family are mistreated and everything, and it's just difficult.
I can understand that, and I think that if you like you said, maybe you didn't know, maybe you didn't. It could have been low self esteem. Maybe you might not have believed that it was real. It could have been a multitude of factors.
I know I don't take no shit. I know that. Ain't no man gonna talk to me crazy, put his hands on me, none of that. It's not gonna happen. I've seen enough of that in my life, and I'm not going.
Okay, okay, and I can understand that. Um, so you said that you weren't ready. How did that situation, like, did you end up being the one that kind of cut that loose, or did he?
Oh, most definitely. When I seen the red flag, because that when you grow up and you see the things like that, like the verbal abuse and everything. I'm not gonna say that I haven't been in a verbally abusive relationship before, because I have, and I stayed because I really didn't feel like I had nobody else. But eventually, I did get out of that situation. So, but as far as like physical abuse, domestic violence, I never experienced none of that. So I can't speak on that.
Okay. I'm about to step outside with one of these maintenance men real quick. Because this shit getting on my nerves. They know my time frame, and they fucking up the stream now. But well, that's good in that aspect. But verbal abuse can be just as damaging. It can be um, just as.
DeMarcus, first of all, don't play with me. This is a serious subject for me. I don't have time to play with your ass. If you never grew up like that, it's not funny.
Yeah, like I said, I apologize for my my volume being on. I'm trying to keep it low while they hammering on shit, and then so now y'all can't
What
hear
if
me.
they making over your whole block or something?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, they just came. Look, I ain't even hear the grass get cut, but they sure came with that fucking leaf blower, just fucking shit up this morning. They are determined. I mean, let's talk about it. And I hate to just go straight. Let's just talk about everything that has gone wrong with this stream today. And I'm just what is today? Thursday.
It started off from the morning with the
Yeah,
leaf blower.
yeah, that's what I'm
Now
saying.
you got the thing.
The leaf blower, then it just cut out in the middle. Somebody hit the power, from knocked the power out. Now they banging on the thing. It's just look, they don't. It's just one of them days, man. It's one of them days. And we're trying to have and I think we're having one of the better conversations that we've ever had. And it's unfortunate that all this little extra shit is
And
fucking
then
it up.
the screen went dead or something. I don't know what happened with right there.
Well, yeah, it just cut out. Like, I mean, I was just sitting there everything, like, everything went black. Like, the lights cut out. I mean, so I don't know if somebody hit triple breaker or something or what, but it's like, yeah, it's just been all kind of shit. Like, it's been sirens and just, that's why, hey, hit that like button, let YouTube know that y'all like it so this can get spread, so that this thing can grow. So like I said, we can accomplish the ultimate mission of getting into a location where I don't have to deal with this shit. That's why I'm ready to move and get a solid location for the den, because all this little extra shit when you in a residential area or when you're in apartments. But it's just
But
too
you
much
know
shit
what?
going
I
on.
do appreciate this topic because, it was real therapeutic to me because I don't really talk about my business. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't trust people with my business because they are not always, but a lot of times they'll eventually use it against you.
I agree. I agree, and that's unfortunate. People will, and it kind of makes me relate to what Miss Meek was just saying. She went to somebody for counseling, hoping that you get assistance, and they use that to prey on you. And
Exactly. They get mad at you then. They'll be like, that's why you ain't had no father. Your stepfather was abusive to you. It just, it is what it is. So, I don't consider myself a victim though, because I know I definitely survived and did the best I could. And for some time, I kind of did follow my mother, but when I was younger, because she stayed in that situation.
yeah,
But growing up, I feel like, now that I'm grown, I know she sacrificed a lot to keep me so wide head, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time, she didn't really have nowhere else to go with all the 7 kids, you know what I'm saying? So she took that, in order for us. She sacrificed for us. So that's why to this day, I do whatever I can for my mother, period. He passed away about 3 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And he had, no, I'm not, he had dementia
Oh, he
and
passed away.
everything. Yeah, he
Oh,
passed
okay,
away.
okay, oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, we ain't tripping on him.
Oh, yeah, my mother's still here.
Okay.
Me and her, we so much alike. Sometimes we butt heads, but I love her to death. We're survivor too. But the funny thing is, I was at the house one day and he was talking. You know how he just talking, and then my brother happened to be outside talking to his friends and everything, and he was talking praise to my mama, and then she got after him, like she gonna kick him or something. He gonna run outside telling my brother my mom was trying to jump on him, or me and her was trying to jump on him. Like, it's like men like that, usually men are really plump. They can't stand up to a real man. That's why they abuse women.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
agree. I agree. And do you think that's part of not having a real man in their lives, so that's why they try to
oh
take
yeah,
that out?
most definitely. His mother was a prostitute, and his father took his brother over her. So,
Wow.
so he had a bad childhood, I'll say too.
Yeah, that's
Because his
noticeable.
father went to jail, but he's from another country though.
Oh,
His father went to jail for killing his brother, and his mother was a whore. So he had a bad perception of women.
Yeah.
from an early age. You know, because all those names he called my mama, he probably wanted to call his own mama.
Yeah. Damn. That's that's wild, man. Again, like I say, that's why I tell people, man, when you're dealing with people in everyday life, treat people the best you can because you don't know anything about the person, the people that you deal with, the people that you come across.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, we've been doing this for a while. She's been here for a minute, and just these are new things. Like you just don't know why people are, who they are. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just you just don't know what people have dealt with, what people have overcome to get where they are. And I hear some of these things, and I'm like, as a male perspective, not having to deal with a lot of these type of issues, especially when you're talking about, men can be, be stronger, be more dominant, whatever else it may be. Um,
Exactly.
you have to be thankful because, like I say, it's only so much that a woman can do without having somebody else to step in when it comes to dealing with another man or things like that. And you have to be thankful. And again, you have to check on the women in your lives. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's very important.
Man, I want to tell Craig that I'm not worried about the mouth. He can sit in the chair and say whatever he want to say. He's just young and immature. When he gets some more living and experiences in his life, then he'll do better. And also just hope that you have never had to experience the things that a lot of people that already called in have experienced. So that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Well, you already know the mark is light skinned. It's summertime, and when that heat get to
But
coming
I'm
out,
saying like every topic is not funny.
yeah,
That's
I
all
agree.
I'm saying. Every topic is not, for jokes and shit. The shit ain't funny.
I agree. I agree. DeMarkey, and you wonder why we call you DeMarkey. When you get your friend back in here, she's gonna get on your ass. Um, I know DeMarkey. He was upset when we let her go. That's why he rebelling right now, because he was mad because we let his friend go. Um, but man, yeah, is there anything else you would like to add to that, Miss Rashida?
um, Let me see. Well, I think I'm thankful that he wasn't ever physically abusive. But on the other hand, as my brother got older, they got taller than him, so it wasn't too much that he was gonna do no way. But you know what, growing up, I was kind of big growing up. So if my mama ever needed my help, I got her. You know what I'm saying? If it had a went left, I mean, it just would have been what it was. I don't play. I don't play about my mama. You put your hands on her, I'm jumping in. I don't care. I'm jumping in with both feet. Shit, we just gonna be in there. We just gonna be there rumbling and stumbling around there. But yeah, I don't play.
You like that little dude try to do Arnold, come in with both feet on. Okay, well, that's well, I'm glad. Well,
Oh, and I want to say that as a step parent, when you come in, it ain't right for you to favor your kids over the other kids that's there. And that was another thing he did. He showed a lot of favoritism for his kids.
yeah,
To this day, I still hate cupcakes because the box come with 8 cupcakes, right? He will he had 4 sons, right? He will only leave out 4 cupcakes and lock the other cupcakes up. You know what I'm saying? So one day I was like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm finna eat these motherfucking cupcakes. So I ate them all. Yeah, then I mean, I was, I was, I was tired of this shit for real. So you know,
but that's some whole ass
I
shit
didn't
though.
give a shit. I didn't give a shit who didn't get one.
Yeah, that's some whole ass shit. Like, I mean, when you come and you embrace somebody else in their life, and again, you have these mixed families, you embrace these people, and you should play it all evenly. And you got to be a shit character to even think like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie. Some of the things that we've heard today are, it's just it's like wow. I didn't think. you know people there's fucked up people out there, but you didn't think as many of the stories that we've heard as many
Yeah,
people
it's
that
a
just
lot of good
operate like
people
that.
in the world. You just have to adapt to things. You know. And it's a lot of good. I mean, even though I might be considered a broken woman or whatever, but I'm still me. I still, I do the best I can. That's all I can do. I can't say what issues I got not having a father because I never had one. I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what relationships look like, but I don't know what I'm personally missing. So
Okay. Man, that's well, like I say, I know you're working on being a changed woman, so day by day, and
yeah, it's slow, but it's some progress. It's some progress.
yeah, slow
Yeah,
progress over no progress.
it's slow progress. That's all I can say. Cause I'm a lot. I think I'm a lot more. Um, I want to say I think I'm a lot more understanding than I used to be. Cause I used to a man say the wrong thing, you cut off. Don't come. Don't talk. No, no, no,
No side man sandwich, no nothing.
nothing. You finna get out. You got to go. I mean, I done had men at my house and tell me to be quiet in my own house. I was like, I had to look around my house to see who they were talking to. Who you talking to? This my shit. You got to go. I mean, and then, do you know one guy actually told me? He said, "If I beat you, that you act right." How much? And you already knew how that situation was.
Yeah, that wasn't even one. That nigga was scared. If you asking, that ain't even in your heart. You just think you just talking crazy. Yeah, you have to go ahead and eradicate that situation. Might have to. What's that river over there by y'all? You might have to hide it, or the lake, or whatever y'all got going. You have to go ahead and dump him, put them cement shoes on that nigga.
Well, I think that's about it for me. I don't think I got nothing else to add. I think I pretty much covered everything. But all I can say to the ladies is if you did go through some stuff and you gotta, you can overcome it, you know. So
Well,
that's
Miss Russia,
all.
I thank you for sharing that, and sharing your story with us. And I shout out to all the ladies who shared their stories with us today, because I know that's not easy. To open up and just
It wasn't easy to share, but we all go through some shit. Ain't none of us perfect. So if anybody can take something from it, then hey, that's good. So,
absolutely, absolutely. But Miss Rashida, I appreciate you calling in.
all right, take care.
All right, you have a good one.
All right. Yeah.
All right. It's a lot of noise, a lot of shit going on in the background. So I'm gonna get ready to wind this up. And I know some of y'all saying let's continue this conversation later on this evening. We may do that. We may do that because I feel like I'm sure there's more people who have something to share. And but it's just right now it's hard to deal with. 'Cause it's hard for me to fucking listen to. Like, look, I want to pull around. She to go in both feet first on these motherfuckers, but they got a job to do, so I can't hate on them for doing their job. I just hope whoever end up moving in over there ain't got a bunch of loud ass dogs like them other motherfuckers. Because this is, man, it's been a real deep one. I mean, it's been a lot of things in this morning stream. It's been attacked from all angles. But again, make sure you like this one too, because this is a separate stream after it got restarted. So make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna go back afterwards and put a part 2 on it, and we'll go there. Um, man, just man, look, it is what it is. So I've learned some things from this morning stream, and this is why I love the den, because like I said, to me, this is the best conversation on the internet. It's the conversations that need to be had. You know, the noise on that, the external noise ain't helping, but I just want to say, man, I know opening up can be a vulnerable feeling, and I just appreciate all the ladies who called in and shared their stories, man, shared their testimony, because it's like, I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy thinking back over that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll continue this conversation tonight. Hopefully, we can have a cleaner conversation. They shouldn't be working on shit later at night. And man, I thank y'all. I really do. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody, man. Just thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, denshowpodcast.com. That will take you to the podcast page where I'm gonna start uploading more stuff there. And I'm gonna start working on maybe trying to pull some lives off with that. TheDenShow.com might be a day or two before it's fully up. It's just a little, right now it's a little holder page, but I'm gonna start putting articles and connect them to the videos, just kind of expanding on certain things there. I'm covering more stories on that angle. Like I say, just with everything that's going on YouTube, gotta hedge my bets. And appreciate everybody who has shown love, everybody who has supported. Shout out to Miss K Grace, because she showed some love. Shout out to, I believe Diana Johnson was the name, for pledging the Patreon. And man, just shout out to everybody who called in today and shared their story. No shout out to the motherfuckers working next door, the goddamn carpet man. No shout out to the old neighbors who left the carpet raggedy. That's why they gotta replace the fucking carpet. Make sure you follow the Den Show on all the proper social medias. Instagram.com, Facebook.com, Twitter.com, also Den Show Live at Gmail. So yeah, we'll continue the conversation tonight. We'll continue the conversation. This is why leaf blowers, niggas ain't even cut the grass. Streamlabs.com/The Den Show if you want to make a one-time donation. If you want to pledge to monthly to the channel, go to patreon.com/The Den Show. There's several reward tiers on the Patreon. So shout out to everybody for Patreon support. You can call the Den line anytime. Like I say, you can call it, hey, if you just got something on your mind, if it's open, I'll try to take your call. If not, you can leave a voicemail. You got news stories, anything you want to share, a screenshot, you can always send that. Or however you want to reach out. Today, if you are going to be joining us for the Vegas trip, I'm going to be reaching out to everybody today with all the pertinent information. We've got to get that done and confirm everybody who's going to be there and who's not. And we'll go from there. So, because it's time to get the ball rolling. So, I can't really delay that any longer. So, I'll be reaching out on those of you in the little Instagram group who said they're going to be going, and those of you in the Facebook group who are going to be going, and those of you who have contacted me via email, I'll be shooting you guys information via email so we can get everything rolling. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool, man. And I thank y'all, man. Shout out to all the ladies tonight. Shout out to all the ladies who called in. And again, like I said, I know it can be a very vulnerable feeling to relive those memories. So I sincerely thank y'all for sharing that with us and providing us some enlightenment and perspective. Man, I'm your boy Ed Honcho. Again, y'all, man, it's an honor and a privilege. It really is, and I thank you. I thank all of y'all. But I'm gonna slide out. I'm gonna catch y'all a little bit later tonight. We will continue the conversation. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all ain't got to go home, or y'all ain't got to leave work, or wherever y'all at, whatever you're doing. But I'm finna get the fuck up out of here. I'll catch y'all later on. I'm mad for real at these goddamn motherfucking. Y'all hear this shit. Shit is nonsense, unnecessary. I'm pissed off. Nigga just hacking and hammering and nailing and shit. It's terrible. I'm gone.